Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Squatter Camp podcast. I actually decided that we should deal with this issue. I've got a problem, and I've got a very, very serious problem with politics in our country because we are actually much, much more focused on race politics, and this is causing chaos within our political space. Recently, there was a very, very serious issue about the open chat podcast that the presenters said something which didn't sit well with the colored community. And then Gayton Mckenzie, as usual, he jumped onto the issue and accused them of being racist, whatever. I don't want to really get too much into that space, who's wrong, who's right. But here's my point. I've known for the longest time that Gayton Mckenzie himself is a racist. There are people who are super sensitive when racism is applied to them, or they feel victimized, racially victimized. I don't know how to put it, but when they are actually victims of racism, they are so quick to act. But when racism happens to other ethnic groups, they choose to keep quiet. Let me give you a reference, by the way. And I will show you a tweet which came from Kenny Kunene trying to justify it and saying he knows Gayton very well. This man is not racist, whatever. In my own opinion, Gayton Mckenzie is a racist, and he himself, he needs to actually come to terms to accept that he's a racist, and he needs to be rehabilitated. I'm not sure if maybe he's actually suffering from being a victim of racism, or maybe that's who he really is. I don't know. I'm gonna show you something here. There's this tweet that's coming from Kenny Kunene, who was just trying to justify what his friend has done by saying this man, referring to Gayton Mckenzie, has never been, it's not, and will never be a racist. His mother is a South Sotho woman from Batu location in Mangaung, and his father is colored. Sorry. I know him better than all of you. Even in prison, he brought a team together for exposure, made up for black, white, Indian, and colored inmates. Your campaign, what did he say? Your campaign, Tony Irrelevant Yengeni. Oh, okay, referring to Tony Yengen. And your cronies will never succeed. We see you. So this is the man who's trying to protect his friend. By the way, he himself, he actually assassinated his own political career by going to visit a murder accused, so-called the kingpin of DJ somebody. So it's a cartel of criminals who are from prison, and they still cannot actually repent from being criminals. They continue to live that life even after prison. I thought people like Kenny Kunene have actually been rehabilitated, and they are no longer living that criminal life and all of that. Why I'm saying he is living a criminal life, if you still have got friends who are criminals, literally it makes you a criminal. Because you cannot tell me that you still have got friends who are doing illegal things, and at the same time you want to say you have actually repented from being a criminal and all of that, or you have been rehabilitated and you no longer associate yourself with criminal activities and people who are doing criminal things and all of that. It's a shame that Kenny Kunene is coming up to actually back up his friend, but at the end of the day, it's a cook from the same pot, and he's trying to protect his friends. It's a returned favor, because remember Gayton said Kenny Kunene didn't do nothing. I know him well. I know he has done nothing, but he had to actually suspend him from Patriotic Alliance activities, because they are already tainted. They are already tainted. And here, if you check here, I'm gonna go here now. The Action SA has reported Minister Gayton Mckenzie to South African Human Rights for racist remarks in which he repeatedly used hateful slurs from the apartheid era, along with other offensive references that serves to degrade and dehumanize Black South Africans. Gayton Mckenzie himself is a racist. That's all I can say. And that man needs to change his ideology and how he views Black people, because he still believes that the colored people are much smarter and better than Black South Africans. You can see even on his tweets, he repeatedly mentioned that, there's some sense of competition that I don't actually understand. Where is it coming from? And this whole thing about race and racism and all of that will keep dividing the country. And in my own opinion, we should not, after 30 years of democracy, be focusing on race. That is why I find it very, very unwise when someone says, I represent colors, I represent Black people, I represent white people. This is one issue that I've repeatedly mentioned that is taking us way, way, way backwards. 10, 20 steps backwards. We will never actually progress if we continue focusing on race. Even when we are doing politics, we should not really be focusing on race, because we are all South Africans. Why should we focus on race? You colored, you belong to Patriotic Alliance, you Black, you belong to EFF, you African, whatsoever. I don't think this will take us any further, and it will keep us isolated and thinking that we're not the same. We are all human. And this whole thing about Gayton, I think he will also come to his senses. We are human, and he needs to change, because if he doesn't change, I don't think he actually got what he got because only colored people voted for him. It should have been Black people who have voted for him. It should have been colored, and also a little bit of white people. So it's a mixture. So such offensive remarks about Black people, especially from him, where he's sitting, running a portfolio, a ministerial position of arts and culture, the same portfolio that should be uniting all South Africans in this country. And this is the man who should be actually taking up the task to unite people. And he continues to divide, citizens of this country. It's a big concern, and he shouldn't be there. He shouldn't be there as a minister. That position is very sensitive. And for the fact that you are a leader, if you are a minister, you are a leader of, you are not a minister of colors, man, Gayton. That's what I actually want to say, that you are not a minister of colors. You are minister of all South Africans. So for you to always kind of take a race position when it comes to certain issues, and you still believe that there's colors, there's white, there's Black people, there's and going out calling the K word, it's from you as a minister. It actually sends a very, very opposite message to the whole of South Africa. So he was being insensitive, and he was just being reckless. And this is who he actually is. I've never been fortunate to have a colored friend, because unfortunately I happened to meet colored people who are like Gayton. And I've got a problem when someone repeatedly saying, I'm colored, I can do this, I'm colored, we are not the same as you. Like, it's just disgusting. I don't know, it's very much disturbing. So Gayton needs to change. He needs to change how he actually view black people and other ethnic groups, and thinking that the colored community, they are the best. And why the competition? Why do you have to keep on raising the race card and all of that? It divides the country. So I think he should change. He should actually move away from this, because this will cost him the vote, big time. The Action SA has actually launched a case further. While we hold the reservation about the effectiveness of the South African Human Rights Commission, here the Action SA, they really doubt this South African Human Rights Commission because of its own history. But they have already lodged a complaint against Gayton Mckenzie about his remarks about black people, dehumanizing them and degrading them and calling them names. That's just not fair. And I don't agree with Gayton. And I hope he can be taken for counseling. That man is traumatized from. And I'm black. I've never really experienced racism myself. I've got white friends who are very kind, and I've never really experienced, I always try to isolate myself from people who are, all about color, white, black, Indian, what. This is the reason why I always criticize Julius Malema for this very same issue. Also MKP for this very same issue, that they are actually running race politics to say, I'm a bone with this, I'm a bone with that. Why are you all about white, black, and telling black people that white people are the enemies, white people are the ones who are causing them to be poor, to be in poverty and all? Well, yet we know that we've got black leaders who continue to be corrupt, who continue to steal from the public purse, and nothing is happening to them. We've got the Dr. Digital Vibes, 150 million for COVID. We've got, your sitting president, 500 billion of COVID money disappeared. We've got Ace Magashule, 255 million of asbestos disappeared. Yet we still continue to blame white people. I don't understand. I'm black, and I've actually come to realize that the problem is not white people. The problem is not apartheid anymore. The problem is us. We need to fix ourselves. And when we see people like Gayton Mckenzie playing race cards here, he needs to level up. He can do better than this, but I'm very much disappointed. I don't know. I'll hear your views, squatters, but this one was just, the last straw. And I've always known that Gayton Mckenzie is a racist himself, but he doesn't want to accept that he's a racist. He keeps accusing other people of being racist. I don't know. I'll see you next time, squatters. Let me wrap it up here. Sharp.